Hello, welcome to the video. I'm going to be taking a look at Helldivers 2 on my 4090. You can see here under graphics device we've got the 4090 in. I will be checking out at 4K, 1440p and 1080p, but I'm going to do 4K first. We've got it at native resolution, so we will check out some of the upscaling a little bit later. Graphics wise, we've got everything maxed out, so that means everything's set to either ultra or high. You can see that here. I think the only thing I've got set off is motion blur, but the rest of the settings are all maxed out. So let's have a look at that. So you can see roughly here we're between 90 and 100 FPS, just about breaking 100 FPS there. Definitely some improvement to this game since I initially played it when it first came out. It's definitely improved performance-wise in the patches since I've last played it on my 4090, because we were struggling in between kind of 70 and 80 FPS. Now we're looking at between 90 and 100, so definitely a big improvement there. And they've also fixed the movement stutter that I was getting. You can see it increase a little bit there when I do it in the frame time. You still see that, but it's nowhere, you know, you don't notice it at all. Unless you're measuring it, you wouldn't notice it. VRAM usage wise, it's not very demanding in this game. We're under 9 gig. Might see that creep up a little bit, but nothing crazy. Not going to be an issue on most cards, I should imagine. You know, we're doing it here at 4K and barely breaking 9. You could do 4K even on something like a 4070 probably, in terms of VRAM usage. FPS might not quite be at 60, but power as well, it's pretty average for my 4090, I'd say. Normally I'd say the average is about 350 on my model 4090. We're just about under that here, so pretty normal. So even there, seeing some dips down into the 80s there, mid 80s in this area here. So I think hopefully with a bit of luck we don't really see it dip too much below 80. Doesn't look like so far we've seen that. One thing I am noticing about this game though is how incredibly demanding it is on CPU. Using almost 30% here at 4K, which is very high. Normally the average is about 10%. So it's like almost 3 times more usage at 4K on this. So obviously because of that, CPU power's over 100 watts, fairly high, which is obviously then increasing by temperatures on the CPU as well. Pretty much getting the same FPS than we were on the as we were on the other map. Maybe even slightly higher. Our average is 97, so pretty much the same. Seem to be breaking 100 a little bit more though than I remember on the other map. Sitting closer to 100 than we are 90, but probably going to get some dips down under 90, I would guess, on some bits. There you go, 88. I'm now going to take a look with the upscaling set to quality, so you can see I've got that here. I'm still at 4K with all of the graphics settings maxed out. And you can see our FPS here up to 130, so quite a big increase of FPS there, from about 90, 95 to 120, 130, so I think ultra quality and quality are okay on this, but anywhere below that, the image starts looking really quite bad. Like, I would not recommend it at all. I'd even try and keep it at ultra quality if possible. It's not too bad in quality. I don't think it looks maybe slightly more blurry than native, but it's not. Most people probably aren't, you're not going to notice. I'm now going to take a look with the upscaling set to ultra performance, so you can see I've got that set here. Now, I wouldn't recommend playing like this because you can probably see on the video how bad the image now looks. It's really, it really does not look good at ultra performance. But I was just curious to see roughly how many frames we could get. Seems like we're, you know, staying mostly above 150 here, so you could obviously target 4K 144 Hz like the monitor I'm playing on. But it's just the image quality is too bad. Like, I wouldn't play like this. It'd probably hurt your eyes after a while. Now I am noticing with the upscaling set to ultra performance that we've got this GPU usage drop down quite a bit, so barely breaking 90%. We've currently got it at 92, 91%, but we're getting a lot of dips down into the 80s. You see that there, 88%, so It's kind of what I thought would happen. The more you drop the upscaling preset, the more CPU bound it's going. So you can see our CPU there is almost up to 40% usage, 140, 150 watts. So taking more workload off the GPU, putting it on the CPU. So I wouldn't really, besides from the image quality at ultra performance as well, obviously that adds to it too, the fact you're kind of using the GPU less and less. Like, I just really wouldn't recommend using a preset like this. I'm now going to be taking a look at 1440p, so I've got that set here. Graphics wise, we've still got everything maxed out, so we've got everything set to ultra or high. So it's looking we're getting about 130 to 140 FPS. Got an average of 137 at the moment. So quite a good increase of FPS compared to what we had at 4K. We head closer to in between 90 and 100 FPS roughly. So you're looking at about a 30 to 40 FPS improvement from 4K. We've got our power at about 300 watts. So that's a little bit better than 4K as well. As well as VRAM's down slightly. I mean, VRAM overall on this game is really not an issue at any resolution. Even at 4K, it's not a problem. I'm still at 1440p, but I'm now going to take a look with upscaling set to quality, so you can see that here. So that looks like it's given us a little bit of an increase of FPS. Seeing over 150 FPS now, we're probably still going to maybe get some dips under 150, I would guess. When you're in the combat and stuff and there's lots going on, lots of explosions and stuff, that seems to drop your FPS a little bit, as you'd expect. It's sitting, obviously, we're at average of 162, so that probably almost definitely is some bits drop under 150, but still a little of increase of FPS. Not quite as much as I thought we'd get. I thought we'd get more 20 to 30 FPS. We're seeing maybe more like 10 to 20 increase from that. I'm obviously noticing GPU usage has dropped down quite a bit as well, sitting at 83% there. I'm now going to have a look at 1080p, so I've got that set here. Graphics wise, I've still got everything maxed out, so that means the settings are either set to ultra or high. Okay, so 1080p here, looking like we're getting about 150 FPS. So a little bit of an improvement there compared to 1440p. Not a massive difference by the looks of it straight away. Only a small increase. By small increase, I suppose, what did we have? We had about 120, 130 at FPS, so not quite as big of a gap. So hopefully with a bit of luck here, we stay mostly above 150. Got an average of 158 at the moment. Looks like our VRAM's down as well. Just under 6.5. Power, maybe down a little bit. Not massive difference though. 250, 260. I think we had about 280-ish at 1440p. So that has dropped the average down a little bit, but it's still sitting at 156. I'm noticing GPU usage here. Not seeing above 95%, getting some dips down even into the 80%. So that's not really particularly ideal. Obviously, you would expect it to go more CPU bound at 1080p compared to 4K. Getting some dips down here even into under 100, 130. Oh my god. Getting some dips down here, closer to 130, even some dips under a little bit. See there, when I look at the smoke and the fog seems to bring it down a little bit. Dude, this thing's chasing me. I'm still at 1080p, but I'm going to take a look with the upscaling set to quality, so we've got that here. So hopefully we won't get as many dips down under 150, but straight away I'm noticing the GPU usage here. It was sitting at under 80% there, at 79%, so that's obviously come down. You would expect this, obviously, by putting the upscaling on. The more we go down the preset, the likelihood it will just get worse as well. As we go more and more CPU bound, it's going to bring that GPU usage down more, so there's kind of less benefit in terms of performance to really gain here. Seeing like not a massive difference between native and this set of quality. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to drop a like on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of the game and the performance on the 4090, and I'll catch you next time.